What up, everybody? Welcome into the Bourbon Buzzed and Ballin', and we are happy you're here tonight. It's been a minute since
We're back.
yeah, it's been a while. We've had a little hiatus of sorts.
Missed a couple weeks worth of episodes because somebody had to take their girlfriend to Italy.
Yeah. Well, it was high time. I headed to Italy. It's been on my list for a long time, so I'm missing it already.
All right, well, tell me the favorite place you visited.
Favorite place in Italy? I would have to say Sentiero degli Dei, the Path of the Gods, the hike we did.
The hike.
Yeah, we, that was a big one on our bucket list. It was actually a lot more than we expected. We bit off more than we could chew. It was 6-point-something mile hike, and it wasn't an incredibly difficult hike, but after the 6.2 miles or whatever it was, you were then faced with 1,800 stairs down into the town of Positano.
At least it was down and not up.
Yeah, but let me tell you about those downstairs, man. It was like 25 stairs down and a landing, 25 stairs, and about halfway through it, my legs were shaking, man. It was...
You get the jello legs.
Oh gosh, it was tough. But yeah, that was probably that and Rome, the Colosseum and the Vatican. Those were huge on my list.
Any places that you wouldn't recommend somebody going and
seeing? Yeah, I would definitely say stay away from the port cities like Positano and Amalfi. Cinque Terre, there's places like that, it was literally shoulder to shoulder in Positano, and it wasn't technically the big busy part of this tourist season yet.
No, so
I can't imagine what those places are going to be like when it's warm and hot and humid. So yeah, those you want to see those places, but at the same time, you better be very particular when you go to see those.
Favorite thing you ate?
Favorite thing I ate?
And your girlfriend doesn't count.
Favorite thing, man, I don't know. The food there was really good. Definitely wasn't the pizza.
Yeah.
I feel like the pizza was a touch. I had it overrated going there.
All right, so that's gonna be your least favorite.
Yeah, I think the pizza would be my least favorite.
Okay.
I don't know that I could put my finger on anything in particular. There was a deli there in Rome that was close to the Pantheon. And the sandwiches there were like these huge. I can't even explain. It was like a Subway for Italy, but the choices were not, lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle. The choices were like artichoke,
peppercini.
Yeah, feta, pistachio cream, stuff like that. So I just took one of their standard stock sandwiches that they recommended, and it was phenomenal. It was really good. So.
All right, last one for you. Best thing you had to drink?
Best thing I had to drink? Definitely the lemon soda.
Okay.
Not the limoncello, but the lemon soda. They have a carbonated drink that's made there, and it's like a Sprite or in a 7-Up, and it's the lemon flavor is just I can't even explain it. It's so lemony. It's lemony. I even smuggled one. I smuggled a lemon home. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but
I'll edit that out later.
I accidentally I picked a lemon in Sorrento as we were walking, because they literally were growing like wildflowers everywhere, and so I picked this lemon. It was beautiful, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna eat that later in the room, or maybe put it in some water, and I stuck it in my suitcase, and before I know it, I'm unpacking my suitcase here in North Carolina, and there it is, and I got it through customs illegally, and so now I've taken it, and the thing that you're really not supposed to do, but I've taken the seeds out
and planted it.
Yeah, I'm gonna plant the seeds.
I think the biggest thing is they don't want you bringing diseases, germs, insects back over here. So
these lemons are like, I can't explain it. You just touch the lemon, and it's like, it's crazy how lemony it is. I cut it up the other day and put it in a pitcher with water, and it's just been sitting in that pitcher with water. And I mean, you open the fridge up and it's like hits you with
knocks
lemons.
you over.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a great trip.
Well, good. I'm glad y'all had a good time. Any other things you want to share about the trip?
No. I mean, you could always tune in. Tune into my Facebook and see some of the stuff that I've posted on it. And
Now, you were able to find some Buffalo Trace, right? Wasn't that
yeah,
one picture you sent?
Yeah, definitely at the Coliseum restaurant right across the street. Really, about the only place I found any bourbon of note.
Decent.
Maker's Mark and Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Is pretty much what they have over there.
Yeah, I know when I used to travel to Germany a lot, Jim Beam and Jack Daniels. That's about it. Those are your two choices.
Yeah, I was kind of thrilled to find Buffalo
Yeah, I
Trace
bet.
that night because I hadn't had bourbon in almost a week. So
All right. Well, speaking of bourbon, let's dive in with our opening toast.
sweet. I'll
You
go first.
want to go first on the toast?
Yeah, I'm gonna toast our local product, Stephen Curry.
All right.
I don't want to. I mean, he's sort of entering the GOAT status, but I think that's a little overblown discussion. I don't want to act. I'm not acting like I'm putting him up there with the big two.
I don't think he's up there with LeBron or MJ, but he's a GOAT in his own right. As
Sure.
far as outside shooting.
Oh, he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
He's the GOAT of
so-
the 3-point
so,
shot,
yeah,
no doubt.
You could definitely talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, he put them on his back and carried them to that win over the Kings. So he only made 7 threes out of 50 points. So
Yeah.
it's kind of opposite of what he normally
Right.
does. He was driving the lane.
I was about
hitting
to
some-
say he's also real good at driving
crafty.
the lane.
Yeah, he's a real crafty dribbler, and I mean he hit so many floaters, and it was impressive. I went back and watched the second half on the computer the other night just to see it, and it was impressive. So yeah, I'm toasting Stephen Curry.
Okay. Yeah, and that kind of goes along with my toast. I was just going to have toast for some underdogs that accomplished some things, the past week. Of course, Steph's team was a lower seed. Steph himself was considered undersized coming into the league.
Yeah.
So he's an underdog who has rose above and accomplished great things, when a lot of people doubted him. They're playing the Lakers next. The Lakers were an underdog, upset the number 2 seed. But the ones I wanted to single out was, first off, the Florida Panthers. A couple weeks ago, we talked about the Boston Bruins and the amazing regular season that they had, setting records for wins and points and all that stuff. And the Panthers were the 8 seed, and they knocked off the number 1 seed.
Yeah. I know you're toasting, but I mean, we can talk a little bit,
absolutely.
break in a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
The Bruins were without 2 of their number 1 and number 2 centers
Right.
for the series, basically. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's things that factor into it.
Right. Yeah, I think there's a lot of discussion whether or not they choked, setting the record like they did and then getting bounced so quick, but, being without Bergeron, and I don't even know the other guy's name.
But, yeah. Well, and look
Chick or something like that.
and look at the 76ers beating the Celtics without Joel Embiid.
True.
So, I mean, yeah, missing your stars definitely factors into things, but it's not the end all be all.
Right.
So the Florida Panthers, another Florida team in the NBA, Miami Heat, number 8 seed in the East, knocking off Giannis.
Yeah, that was a shock.
And the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks. So the 2 teams that were the betting favorites to win the 2 leagues, the Stanley Cup and the NBA championship, are no longer, eliminated in the first round.
First round, yeah.
So
First
that's
round
big.
knockout.
That's big.
Did you see Giannis's post
game? I did. I didn't see it, but I read about him saying hey, because and that goes back to a lot of what we say about Alabama also. You know,
Right.
just because you didn't win a championship, it's not a failed season. And
Exactly.
people need to quit, putting so much into winning it all, or else, it was a terrible season.
I mean, I thought Giannis put it in a great
He
perspective.
did. He
you
did.
know,
He was very eloquent and definitely sent a good message to everybody.
You could tell he was thinking about what he was saying because he was gonna pose it back to the reporter and make it a little personal, and he was like, "No, I don't want to make this personal."
He kept it classy.
Yeah.
He kept it professional, and like I said, I think it came across more powerful.
Yeah,
with the way
definitely.
he delivered it.
Yeah.
So I was impressed with that. And then I got my Bryce jersey on tonight, representing the number 1 overall draft pick. So I consider him an underdog because he's always been undersized.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
a lot of people are knocking him for that he's not going to be able to have a good pro career, and he might not, but who knows? Based on what he accomplished in college, he definitely deserved to be the number 1 pick.
Yeah,
And he's the smallest quarterback ever to be drafted number 1. He's the only. It's hard to believe as many great players as Alabama has sent to the league. He's the only number 1 overall ever.
Yeah, he's our first number 1
for the
overall.
university. So, I mean, he is
A lot of first with him. But,
Yeah. Yep.
You said he earned it, but I mean, the thing about Bryce is the intelligence, man. The intelligence just wins over. So, and you can't help but know that to your quarterback's typically the face of your franchise.
Right.
He's just like the epitome of what you want.
Did
to
you
represent.
And did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
That he, just because he was number 1 overall, that doesn't entitle him to anything.
Sure, no, and he's always, and that's not just words for him.
No, that's not just that's
not chatter for him.
No, that's how he truly
It
is.
It is, and that's how he leads. He's not a rah-rah guy. Even
Yeah.
at Bama, he wasn't a rah-rah guy. He's not going to be a rah-rah guy in the NFL, but I guarantee you, with 2 minutes to go in the game, he'll have command, and
Right.
his team will give him respect because they'll be confident in his ability to deliver the ball where it needs to be.
Yeah, and one of my comps for him, if you remember a couple weeks back, was Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And if he can have the career as an undersized quarterback that Steph has had as a slight build, in the NBA, then Hall of Fame.
Sure.
Because Steph's first ballot without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
If he never played another game, he's Hall of Famer. So.
Oh yeah, clearly.
So all right, let's raise our glasses.
Yeah.
Toast all those underdogs out there. Toast Mr. Steph Curry.
Steph, baby.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bryce, man, that was what a run, man. What a kid.
Did you see the picture of him and Brian Burns? Is it Brian Burns? What's their the end?
The end, yeah, Brian Burns.
So they got a picture of them two shaking hands.
Oh, one towering
well,
over the
but
other.
you can tell that Burns is closer to the camera than Bryce is, and Burns is like kind of chest out to the camera where Bryce. So yeah, he's a lot bigger than Bryce, but they made it look. It was about like that picture of
right.
of Ingram and Derrick Henry that one time.
Yeah, just
made
the
him,
angle of the camera.
right. So everybody's making a big deal about how Burns is dwarfing him, and yeah, like I said, he is a lot bigger, but the camera.
Well, and that's a good analogy too, because when Brian Burns was drafted, he was undersized for his position. Mm-hmm. And look at him now. He's an all-pro. Mm-hmm. And, when you talk Panthers, when you talk Carolina football here in our Charlotte area, when you talk about the best player on Carolina, his name's always mentioned first. So, since McCaffrey's been gone. So,
right.
He's an underdog because he was ridiculed for them drafting him.
Yeah. And then everybody wanted to trade for him.
Exactly.
Once they got on the field and showed what he could do.
Yeah, and the league is going undersized anyway. There's a movement.
It's a passing league. It's get the ball out quick.
Speed.
I mean, nowadays you don't have quite the sacks. It's more about getting pressure because the quarterbacks are getting it out so quick. It's hard to get a sack.
Right.
I mean, you gotta be back there in 3 seconds
Yeah.
if you want a sack, and so the numbers for sacks overall are down.
Sure.
Because it's such a
And
get the ball out quick.
it's not because the offensive lines have gotten better and more sophisticated.
No, it's because
it's exactly what you're talking about. The analytics,
the schemes,
getting
play
the ball
call, yep.
out of your hand, because that is clearly one of the biggest analytic statistics that they use for a quarterback. So, and Bryce falls right into that perfectly.
Yep. Yeah, because a lot of what makes a great quarterback in today's game is what you can figure out pre-snap.
Yeah.
And that comes from the film study and just the knowledge and
intelligence.
Exactly.
He's been bred to play this position.
Yeah. So,
and that's what got him drafted first. I don't think it was the accolades at Alabama, the Heisman at Alabama. I think it's his processing, because that's the buzzword you hear for him, and he's proven that in interview after interview from team to team that his processing ability, pre-snap and post-snap, it's elite.
Yeah,
it's above elite, actually.
Absolutely. And his arm might not be as strong as a Josh Allen or C.J. Stroud, but when you can process quicker and get it out quicker, it's gonna make it to the receiver.
Yeah.
As if he had as strong an arm.
True that.
So
I hope he does great, man. Obviously we're homers when it comes to Bryce, so we'll both be donning a Panthers jersey on Sunday.
Yes,
and he did get number 9.
He did get number 9.
You saw that.
Yeah, yep.
Yep.
And I'm gonna talk about that a little bit in my next in my scumbag.
Matt Corral.
In my scumbag,
Okay.
I'm gonna mention a little something about that whole issue. But before we jump into scumbags, why don't you tell everybody what you're sipping on this evening?
I went to the Irish whiskey again, Tullamore Dew. It's not a fancy Irish whiskey. That's one thing in Italy. There was a ton of Irish whiskeys available.
Probably a lot of
over
scotch
there.
too.
Yeah, a ton of scotch. So, but I like this. This is a good little sipper. It's a mild Irish whiskey that is just good to sip on.
Okay.
How about you?
I went with the Angels Envy, and we rated that one of our early shows, and we gave it a 3, and it's finished in a port barrel. The Rabbit Hole that we're going to do tonight is finished in a sherry barrel, so I wanted to kind of keep it with the flavored bourbons, so I chose the Angels Envy. All right, well, let's go into the scumbags, and I'll go first because I kind of teased. I wanted to mention something about the whole Bryce Young thing. My scumbag, I thought about making the New Jersey Devils my scumbag for eliminating my Rangers, but they deserved the series. They
they're fast.
They are
man.
so
they
fast.
Are fast. What's his name? Turner?
Oh no!
What's that?
Hughes, Jack Hughes.
God,
Jack Hughes. Yeah,
he
was so fast he was tripping himself.
He's amazing.
He fell
man.
twice because of he was going so fast. He was very impressive.
That game last night, I watched it from start to finish. It was ugly from the get-go. It looked like a high school team playing a junior high team.
It looked like when me and you were playing roller hockey, and we were playing in that league, and that one kid that was like 20 that was just zipping all over the place.
Couldn't do nothing with them. Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah, they looked like they had their feet in cement last night. But so no, I was just kidding. I wasn't going. The Devils are not my scumbags. Even though they broke my heart last night. The media, I might just have to just make a new segment each week, and I'm gonna give out my stupid media award each week. Yeah. There you go. So. The first one, I mentioned the jersey number, and FanSided's John Bueller is reporting that Matt Corral was forced to change his jersey number. Well, Corral wore number 2 in high school and in college. And before the draft even started, he requested a number change to number 2. So it had nothing to do with Bryce the team insisting that they give Bryce his number. But here's a reporter trying to make something out of nothing.
Sure.
Another reporter trying to make something out of nothing is TJ Who's Your Mama. Remember TJ Hushmanzada?
Yeah.
So now he, for whatever reason, decided that he's going to rip Nick Saban. And he's saying that the only reason Eli Ricks wasn't drafted was because Nick Saban was talking all this negativity about him to all the teams. Why in the world would Nick Saban speak negative about a player? All that does is hurt his program, his recruiting.
Right.
If Ricks gets drafted, Bama has 11 players drafted instead of 10, and it breaks the tie with Georgia. So,
sure.
I mean, these people that just make shit up.
Well, he must be in Eli's corner as one of his mentors. I don't know. I didn't know that story.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the only thing it can be is just he's in Eli Ricks's corner and he's got his ass hurt because Eli
should have came back for another year.
No, yeah, exactly.
He ain't got enough film. He barely played.
He played well towards the end of
Right.
the season, but it was 2 games.
Yeah.
He had 2 games of good film, and the rest were kind of.
He was still learning the defense, and he he had some good film early at LSU, but then nothing. So it had nothing to do with Nick slandering the kid.
Sure.
Nick would never do that. So why and he's like, with his argument, he was like, well, I just want all the parents out there to. So it's almost like he's trying to hurt Bama's recruiting. So it's like he's got an ulterior motive. And it really doesn't have anything to do with Ricks. It's more just him trying to bash Saban and his program and hurt his recruiting. So that's another one. Then the third one I've got is On 3 Sports, J.D. Pickle. And he's saying that Alabama brought in the Notre Dame quarterback because they're trying to copy what Georgia did with Stetson Bennett. So they're bringing him in to be because Nick wants a Stetson Bennett.
Come on now, it ain't even close.
It has nothing to do with Georgia. I mean, and they don't even really. They're 2 different style quarterbacks.
Exactly, that's what I meant. It's not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, you got one kid who was highly recruited and plays differently than another kid, and Tommy Reese.
It was his coach.
It was his coach at Notre Dame.
Recruiter.
So he comes in. And he already has 50% of the playbook down.
Exactly.
So the reason for him to even come to Bama and the fact that
Milroe and Simpson didn't separate themselves. Nobody took charge.
Exactly.
This kid went into the portal. So Nick, the best quarterback available in the portal. He didn't have a quarterback that was just lights out in the spring. Bring in more competition.
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, he didn't promise him that he was going to get the job or anything like that. It's just ridiculous. I mean, the media just kills me with the way they just want to make shit up and
well, I mean, that's what they get paid to do now.
Well, the writers out in Hollywood went on strike. The Writers Guild. I wish the damn sports writers would go on strike or just go away.
We wouldn't have much to talk about, maybe. Which
it might be harder to find a scumbag for me each week.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same route on my scumbag.
Are you?
Yeah.
All right.
My scumbag of the week are mock drafts. They suck.
Yeah.
And basically, I'm calling out Kiper, McShay, King, and Liar. Those are the 4 big ones. There's a lot more than that, but these guys are rarely right. But yet, I tune into them on the weekly.
Yeah.
For 6 months? Actually, a year, because I've already read the mock draft for next year. So, Mel Kiper's with ESPN, McShay's ESPN, King is NBC, and Liar is Sporting News, and then Daniel Jeremiah is the NFL Network. And so Kiper was, they gave him points for being correct, half points for being right with a player, but not right on the spot. And so Kiper had 1.5 correct out of 31. And he's supposedly the.
I mean,
he's
that's
the
his year-round job.
Yeah, he's the start of this whole.
Well, but see, he was
mock.
31 for 31. The NFL teams got it wrong. They were only 29.5.
That's how he'll spin it. McShay 4 out of 31.
A little better.
King 2.5 out of 31. Liar 5 out of 31.
Okay.
And then Daniel Jeremiah 6
and Jeremiah to me is the most knowledgeable of all those guys when it comes to.
And it kind of pans out.
Yeah.
Kind of pans out. So basically the bottom line is that's why you and I chose not to do a mock, because we're not even privy to all the inside.
Now I will say somebody said that Bryce was going to the Panthers and Will Anderson was going to the Texans.
Yeah, you did. You
so
did
I
say
did.
That.
I almost got it wrong because
you got 0.5 right out
there
of that.
There you go. He went third instead of second. But, so I was 1.5 out of 3.
There you go. That's pretty strong.
And I'm 50%.
That's 50-50. Yeah, so that's my scumbag, or the media so-called experts that.
Yeah, see, I used to be like that. I used to click on every single mock, and they all have like their first one, and then they've got like 7.0, right before the draft.
Yeah.
And I would look at every single version, and this year I didn't even look at them. I was
really? I can't help it. I love looking at the mocks, man. It's entertaining, and I mean it's fun to actually watch them and then track them at the end to see how right they were.
Yeah.
They very rarely are right.
And then
Peter King is usually the winner.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the reigning champ anyway. Okay. But like you said,
he did do too.
Daniel Jeremiah has been been on the point the last few times.
So what was I gonna say? Another thing that I quit doing was any story where it says Feinbaum. I quit clicking on those too.
Oh.
I don't even. He has gotten so outrageous that I don't even waste my time.
Yeah, I don't
looking at his stuff anymore.
Honestly, I usually get home from work about 3:30, and so I used to just put the Feinbaum show on while I was finishing the workday at home.
Right.
I don't even do that anymore either because I just can't listen to those boo-boos that call in, and most of them are Bama fans. It's embarrassing actually for our fan base, but it's gotten so bad with Feinbaum stirring the pot, because that's ratings.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I don't even, I don't even chime in on what his opinion is. I don't really care.
Yeah, no, he's like a flip flopper anyway. He's flip flopping.
He's in the moment. Whatever benefits him in the moment, that's what he's gonna side with, and I'm over that. So, all right, anybody else you got on your scumbags?
No, that was it. I was sticking with the draft theme, and
okay,
since that's pretty much going to dominate our conversation.
Yeah. So we'll come in hot, and really, we'll just go right into the NFL draft. Now, one thing I did, I don't know if you remember, way back. This is episode 37, so 35 episodes ago, episode 2, we did our college football preview show, preseason for college football, and we listed a lot of players to watch, who we felt like were going to be the best players in each conference. So I went back to see, we were just talking about the success rate of the mock drafts.
Right.
So I went back to look, here at the ACC, we said Breesy and Murphy both went first round. We said Josh Downs for UNC was a player to watch. He went in the third round.
Good value, too, in the third round.
Yeah, good value. There was a fifth-year senior linebacker from Louisville named Yasir Abdullah.
Oh, yeah.
That we said keep an eye on. He went in the fifth round.
Yeah.
Now, one that we missed on was Sean Tucker, the Syracuse running back. He went undrafted. But, that he did sign with Tampa Bay, and, undrafted for a running back's not a nail in the coffin. That's the one private position.
Yeah, we're going to talk about running backs here in a little bit.
So we were pretty good in the ACC. Pretty good. right. Now in the Big 12. Of course, we said Bijan Robinson, first round, number 8 overall.
That was a given.
Deuce Vaughn, who had a hell of a year, and he did get drafted in the 6th round, mainly because of his size. But I think he's going to be a legit NFL player.
And he went to the Cowboys, didn't he? Did he go?
Yeah, he went to the Cowboys. Another K-State guy that we picked was Felix Anudike-Uzama.
Yeah.
First round, number 31.
Yeah, that was
a good hit right there.
That
was a good hit. Trey Tomlinson, LaDainian's nephew, he went in the 6th round. Quentin Johnson, the wide receiver from TCU, went in the 1st round, number 21. Dante Stills from West Virginia, he went in the 6th round. So we nailed the Big 12. TCU, what was that? TCU had the 4th most players picked in the draft.
Well, I mean, if you look at the, I have that stat somewhere. I mean, Alabama, UGA, Michigan, TCU.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 of those 4 made the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, we didn't.
Yeah, right.
But I mean,
by 4 points.
Right,
2 road games, 4 points.
Exactly.
All right, Big 10. Of course, C.J. Stroud and Jackson Smith and Jigba, those were kind of easy ones. But those were the 2 we called out. They went 1st round, number 2 and number 20. We had Blake Corum. He had a great year, but he's going back to school.
He's coming back.
So
he got an injury, too, or else he might have come out, and he would have gotten drafted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So there, Graham Mertz was one that went on. He's coming back to school. Joey Porter Jr. was a name we mentioned. He went in the 2nd round. Peter Skoronski, the offensive tackle from Northwestern. He was a 1st round pick, number 11. Let's see, Jack Campbell.
He was low-hanging fruit for us, Skoronski, but Jack Campbell was a good
Jack Campbell, 1st round, number 18. Yeah. All right, Pac-12, Jordan Addison, which was also kind of an easy one, but he went 1st round, number 23.
Yeah, I don't like that draft.
This one surprised me. USC offensive tackle Andrew Voorhees, he stuck around to the 7th round. That might be a steal there. And then, of course, in the SEC, we got Will and Bryce, both went number 1 and number 3 overall. Stetson Bennett went in the 4th round.
I called the Stetson Bennett a few months or more than a few months ago because we were arguing on social media, and a lot of people were saying he would be an undrafted free agent. I was like, nah, he's going to get picked up in the mid-round somewhere.
Well, especially
he went a little higher than I thought.
Yeah, but he went to the ideal situation.
Oh, yeah.
The Rams.
It was a good situation for him.
And, I think more quarterbacks got drafted than was expected because of Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
What Purdy did, people didn't want to, miss out on the next Brock Purdy. So a lot of quarterbacks got drafted. All right, rounding out the SEC, Will Levis, 2nd round. Hendon Hooker, 3rd round. Keyshawn Boutte, 6th round. Tank Bigsby, 3rd round. So, I mean, we really nailed, as far as the players we said to watch.
Right.
The only one that we said to watch that put their name in the draft that wasn't drafted was Sean Taylor. I mean, what's his name? Sean Tucker.
Tucker, the running back.
Sean Taylor. Rest in peace.
Yeah, that would have been a good call there.
Yeah. So he's the only one that we said to watch for that wound up going undrafted. Of course, he did, like I said, sign with Tampa, and Tampa needs some running backs. So good chance he's going to make the team.
Yeah. That's cool. So so tune in to our preseason
when we
college show because I took my suggestions to that list just straight from publications off of or not publications, actually straight from their websites, each school's website. I went through the Pac-12, for example. I went through Washington's football website. I didn't really read Athlon's or Sporting News. I didn't really use those publications for my list.
Right. So now I was, because I noticed during the draft, I was like, yeah, we said watch him. And, then I was like, well, I need to go back and see how well we really did do. And I was impressed. We nailed most of them. So,
Well, maybe if one of these days we get invited to the combine as media, then we can start doing our own mock. And I think I can promise you we'll be better.
Do better than Kuiper.
We'll be better than that. Might even do better than some of these GMs did, because I don't know. I know we're Jahmyr Gibbs fans, and I know you called Bijan Robinson we're during the draft. You called that the Falcons were going to take him.
Right.
I can kind of see the Falcons taking Bijan, but I don't agree with Jahmyr Gibbs going to the Lions. I mean, they just signed what's his name out of Chicago.
Yeah,
And
but he's a big back.
I know, but still.
And they had DeAndre Swift.
They got DeAndre Swift.
But they don't have many more. They traded him to the Eagles.
No, they didn't. Another Georgia Bulldog
But
to the
see-
Eagles. Philadelphia Dogs.
See, I actually listed the Lions as a team that I liked what they did.
Did you?
Yeah, now was Gibbs a reach at 12? Yeah, he was a reach at 12.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with him being first-round talent.
Right.
I just felt like he was a reach at 12.
He went high, but the
value-wise.
Lions were in a similar situation as the Eagles. They were picking for luxury, not out of necessity. The Lions are going to be a heavy favorite to win their division this year.
Oh, yeah.
So they wound up picking Gibbs. So they're going to have the power back, and then they'll have Gibbs who can do it all. He's a Alvin Kamara type back.
And I realize he'll probably come in handy with Williams being on. Jameson being
Williams,
on
yeah.
suspension.
They picked up Campbell, the linebacker that we said to watch for. They picked up Brian Branch in the second round. Branch was supposed to be drafted ahead of Gibbs.
Yeah, that was good value.
They wound up getting both of them. They got Hendon Hooker for the future. So I liked what the Lions did.
Only thing I really didn't like Gibbs, because I felt like, we talked about this a little bit. They needed. I just felt like Nolan Smith would have been a better pick at 12, just because of his skill set and the fact that they really could use a counter to Aiden Hutchinson.
Right.
And I like the Lions. The Lions are a hard team not to like, because they've never won anything.
Right. And
even though I'm a Vikings fan and I'm an NFC,
Yeah, if they're not playing,
North fan,
if the Lions aren't playing one of the teams that I pull for, then yes, I want them to win.
yeah.
They're and I like the team they've put together. I like the coaching staff they put. We talked about it last year, and so they, I think, really strengthened their team with this draft. Did it go in the order it should have? Probably not, but they got some good talent with their picks. And the Eagles, you mentioned Nolan Smith.
Yeah,
I loved what the Eagles were able to do. They were able to let Jalen Carter fall in their lap. Nolan Smith fell in their lap.
Nolan Smith, man, I was really pissed that the Vikings went Jordan Addison over Nolan Smith at 3. I really thought the Vikings would maybe get. Nolan Smith was definitely high on my list for the Vikings when he was slipping.
I saw a picture today, and it was the Eagles logo.
Yeah.
But they changed the A in the Eagles to the Alabama A. And they changed the G to the Georgia G.
Right.
Because the Eagles are loaded with Alabama and Georgia players. They also added Tyler Steen, Kaylee Ringo, Eli Ricks that I talked about earlier. They signed him as an undrafted free agent. So they love some Alabama, some Georgia players, but why wouldn't you?
Why not?
I mean, you got the two best college programs with the most NFL talent in their systems. Load them up. Bring them in.
Why not?
So, I mean, they're loaded with Alabama on offense, Georgia on defense, and they're going to be tough to beat this year.
Oh yeah, they were already slotted to be tough to beat.
Yeah, and they
got better.
And then they go out and win the draft.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's their executives are doing an amazing job. And that, like you said, it's hard for you to praise the Lions being a Vikings fan, being a Giants fan.
Yeah.
it's hard to praise the Eagles. But,
but
you got to
facts are the facts.
Yeah.
The Eagles are winning on the field and winning in the office. The Texans,
I liked what the Texans did.
I do like what the Texans did, but you know what? It's a lot of pressure on the Texans because they gave up some serious draft.
They did,
for
but
next year.
but they had it to give up. So I mean, it's not like they went out and got their quarterback of the future, or actually of the now.
They hope
they went out and got their franchise. They hope that they went out, but you got to swing for it.
At some point,
you got to swing for it. So they got the second best quarterback in the draft and the best defensive player in the draft to add to their squad, and so I liked what they did. It shocked me,
It was.
I didn't see it coming.
It was shocking. It was a fun draft to watch.
Yeah, after they drafted Stroud, I figured they'd stay put at 12 and pick up Smith and Jigba, and just keep that connection together going into the pros. And then when we heard that the trade would happen, you can go watch our TikTok video because I think somebody lets out a roll tide right before anything is said.
It was pretty obvious.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious what D'Amico
they made
was.
That trade, what they were going to do, didn't hurt much. That there's a Bama man running the team. So,
Right.
So so it was interesting.
And then one other team that has been getting a lot of love for their draft, and I was pleased with what they did was my Giants. They needed a cornerback opposite of Adoree Jackson, and they got Banks from Maryland, and I didn't know a whole lot about him. But then the more I was watching the guys on TV talk about his skill set, the more I was liking this kid.
Yeah.
They got Schmitz.
Rangy.
Schmitz, the center.
That's probably their sneakiest
which
pick.
And they need
that was have slipped that deep
and that was a weakness on there. They were talking about possibly moving up to get him, but they were able to stand pat.
Yeah.
And then they did move up to get Jalen Hyatt, so they added a deep threat to Daniel Jones. You remember?
I don't know if Daniel Nichols can throw it that far.
Yet.
He's struggling to throw it that far.
Do you remember when we went to the Wake Forest Old Dominion game 2 years ago?
I do. I remember looking at Kuntz.
No.
Oh,
you remember the DB
yeah.
that dominated that game for ODU, had like 9 tackles, I think 3 for a loss. Well, that's Mr. Trey Hawkins III, who the Giants picked up in the 6th round.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I do remember seeing a DB from ODU.
Yeah, remember
I didn't realize that way.
I didn't either until
we were looking at, you were talking about that Kuntz kid on the sideline the whole time.
Right.
And we were like, damn, why isn't that kid getting in the game? Because he looked the part.
Right. But this was the kid that was all over the field, making plays all over the field.
Number 8, did you say? What number 8?
It was a single digit. He
was built different, man.
Yeah.
He was just he walked different. He talked different because we were so close. You could almost hear what they were saying. So see what we can do in person. I mean, we can pick out talent.
Yeah, we called
I've
him out.
always thought that about me. I mean, I could go to a high school.
Except quarterbacks, you're terrible.
Well, yeah, but I don't see them in person. See, I'm watching them on TV.
You're watching them on TV.
But I go to a high school baseball game, and I'm like hearing parents talk about, well, he's getting recruited by this guy and this guy and this guy, and I'm like, no. And then season ends, and they don't get signed, or they go to JUCO.
Yeah, Same with high school football around here.
Right.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be D1. I'm like,
no chance.
Nah, not at all.
Not even close.
Yeah, what else you got on the draft?
What about Arizona? What you thinking there? I mean, I forget why I wrote this now. I think Kyler Murray is like on a 1-year play-in.
Right.
I know he's got a big contract,
he's got a huge
but
contract.
I mean, I really think Arizona could potentially.
Well, his it's a new coaching staff, so
I think he's done in Arizona. I really do.
Yeah.
I can't remember why I wrote this. But I think he's done in Arizona.
Yeah.
That's just, you put that on, it's on tape. We'll see. I think he's done in Arizona because I think they're gonna be in the Caleb Williams
Yeah.
sweepstakes. I think they've had enough of Mr. Murray.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think definitely whoever gets the first pick, you know, there's two good quarterbacks. You got Drake May coming out next year also.
I think why I thought that was because they got out the way this year. They kind of get out the way.
Yeah.
And
Of course, he is. I don't know when he's, supposed to be back from his injury.
Who?
Kyler Murray.
Oh, yeah. I'm not really sure either, but I just feel like he either has to really show out this year, or Arizona's going to move on. And
If they can get somebody to take that contract off their hands.
Somebody dumb will do it.
I don't know if you heard Mr. Ruggs, Henry Ruggs, pleaded guilty today.
I did.
So it's probably going to save him some jail time, because he was looking at anywhere from 2 to 50.
Right.
And now he's looking at anywhere from 3 to 10. So.
Yeah, I did see that. I was just going to stay away from it. It's such a tragic story all the way around for obviously the family of the young lady's life who's taken.
Right.
And Ruggs, for making that stupid decision, man.
7 seconds.
Sucks, man. Bama, man, we're kind of in the news right now. A lot of bad issues
A lot of negativity. Yeah, we need to change the narrative.
It is.
That narrative needs to change around the school.
It's a little embarrassing.
Well, I'll be down there this weekend, so I'll see what I can do.
All right, well, yeah. Start working on that PR for Bama.
Well, my daughter's graduating with a PR degree. Maybe they need to just go ahead and hire her to let her clean the place up.
Yeah, get rid of Saban and the rest of them clowns, and let's just start it. Yeah, we need something, man, because it's kind of.
Yeah, it's like every time, every week. It's like a weekly thing, It
is.
We had like an assistant AD get arrested a couple, I think over the weekend for domestic violence. I mean, it's just one thing after another.
And now our baseball program is being supposedly investigated because there was some big money bet on them in their series against LSU, and Vegas put a halt on any betting on Bama baseball because there was some suspicious activity.
Throwing games, huh?
So now apparently we got some kids in our Bama baseball program that could be potentially throwing games.
So we got a Crimson Sox scandal, huh?
Yeah. It's embarrassing. No, I mean I didn't know if you want to talk a little bit about Dion and the players he's losing to the portal. Michigan State lost a bunch of key players over the weekend to the portal.
I mean,
Colorado's won like 3 games in 3 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's
he's trying to.
He got to clean it up.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Yeah.
I mean, is he
out with Samsonite, in with Louis?
I think the only player that he's lost that he really didn't want to lose was the wide receiver.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't.
Who's still available on the portal too?
Yeah.
Can't remember his name. But
I can't either off the top of my head. But I think he's got 3. I think it's 3 names. But anyway.
No, I mean I think. He was pretty transparent about what he was going to do when he came in.
He told him at the opening meeting. Most of y'all ain't going to be here when the season rolls around. So, he's going in and rebuilding that program. I think the portal is just the way of college sports right now. I mean, it's even worse than basketball.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up with, when you've got only 3 players off of the last year's roster because everybody else is transferring or turning pro. It's basketball. I think it's even worse than football just because
it takes less players.
Yeah, there's not as many on a roster
for sure.
But it's just something we got to get used to, and you throw NIL on top of that, and you got these kids going in the portal looking for deals. Who's going to give me the most money? So
exactly.
That's just where we're at. Well, that's all I had. Mainly wanted to talk about the draft.
Yeah. No. No, I mean we got a long time of I guess NBA and Major League Baseball stuff, which you and I really don't
Right.
talk too much about, but we're kind of in that gray area.
Well,
now
it'll
after
be
the
deeper.
draft.
It'll be deep, and it'll be deeper into the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs next week. So it'll probably be good subjects to talk about next week. So
I still want to have the great debate, MJ or LeBron.
well, we can. That we might lead into that with how LeBron and his Lakers do next week or this week.
I'm predicting.
Should be a good series.
I'm predicting the Lakers to win.
Should be a good. You saying win it all or win the series with the Warriors?
I don't want to go out there and say win it all, but it would surprise me if LeBron has gotten to a point to me. I've watched the last few nights where he looks like he's allowing other players to be more involved, and to me, LeBron can score 20 to 25 against Golden State, and the Lakers can win. If Steph doesn't go out and put up 40 plus, Golden State loses.
Yeah.
Because his supporting cast isn't as helpful as LeBron's supporting cast.
Right.
And so, I mean, if Unibrow stays healthy and plays to his ability, I mean, I honestly think the Lakers can win it all.
Yeah, and Anthony Davis is like sneaky. I mean, you don't think he's even hardly done anything, and then you look at the stat line, and he's got like 30 points, 15 rebounds,
I mean,
5 assists. It's
he's
like
easily top 5 talent in the game. It just has to be
right.
He has to be available. He
Yeah.
has to play, and so so with him being healthy, LeBron being healthy, they got the Reeves kid. What's and
Austin, I think is
Austin,
his name.
yeah, and LeBron.
I never even heard of him until like over the last month, where he's just been lights out.
Yeah, no, he's been good the whole time. It's just been a matter of LeBron trusting in him.
Yeah,
and it just seems like he does now. So.
Well, see, the thing with me and the NBA and the NHL, I had somebody this weekend ask me, "So who's your pick for the NBA championship?" I said, "Well, it's I can't really pick somebody because those sports are so matchup driven. A team A might be able to beat Team B. Team B can beat Team C, but Team A can't beat Team C because of the matchups. I might be able to dominate a quick team, but I can't beat a physical team. So without knowing all the paths, it's really hard to say who." Unless you have just a powerhouse like the Warriors, a few years back, right. You knew they were going to win it all. LeBron, when he was in Miami, you knew they were going to, But other than that, to me, it comes down to matchups and who you get to play and when you get to play them. So,
yeah.
It's hard for me to pick.
Yeah, I don't really care to pick, to be honest with you. But
like I said earlier, who would have ever thought Philly would have beat the Celtics without Embiid?
Yeah,
I mean,
not me.
I would have picked the Celtics to beat them even with Embiid.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Celtics, man. I watched that game last night, a large portion of that game. They're hard to watch, man. The Celtics.
Why is that?
It's like I don't even think they're coaches. I mean, it's like they just throw the ball out there and they just isolate and play. Mm-hmm. And it's just like there's no flow to their play.
Yeah.
There's no it's really hard to watch. I mean, they got 2 ultra talented players, Tatum and Brown.
Yeah.
But it's like other than those 2, that's it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they just need a coach. They had one, but he was a scumbag.
He was a scumbag, sleeping with the travel agent.
So he's out.
Actually, he just got hired to be somebody's coach. Houston, maybe.
Yeah, something. I know he got hired again. Yeah. I'm not really sure where. But.
All right. Anyway, let's wrap up this portion. Go over to the bar, and like I said, we've got the another rabbit hole over there waiting on us, and we'll taste that, and then we'll rate that shit. See you at the bar.
Cheers.